What's good, what's good, what's good, what's good, what's good? It's your boy, the good son. I hope you're good. I'm not good at all. In fact, I'm mad. Firstly, I'm mad at myself and to us as a people, as a community. If you follow me on social media, you know that I have a beautiful, smart, well-mannered 13-year-old niece that I absolutely adore. Next year she goes to high school and I'm scared, man. I'm scared because she's a really, really good kid. I'm scared because the world that we have created right now, it doesn't allow good people to stay good. It's even worse for females. We have created a world where we have made it okay for women and for girls to sell themselves. We've made it okay for sick, weak, cowardly men to thrive and to use their financial success to use our girls for their sexual gratification. We used to exile these people, the prostitutes, the pedophiles, alongside the thieves and rapists from our communities, but now we not only coexist with them, but we've given them platforms for them to be seen as noblemen. We uplift these people, we give them platforms, radio shows, TV shows, we add them to campaigns. We have made it okay, and that's what I'm mad about. We've not only accepted the prostitution culture, but we are promoting it. More and more individuals are benefiting from it. Girls are getting money and gifts, and men are getting their sexual fix. And no one wants to be judged for it. So what we did is we came up with new terms. We no longer call them prostitutes. We no longer call it prostitutions. We no longer call the men pedophiles. But we call them blessers and blessees. How cute. I mean, we all see it happening. We all know it's wrong. Even when someone speaks against it, no one listens. Because right now, popularity matters more than the truth. Another reason why most don't speak about it is because as individuals, our selfish nature sees an opportunity to gain. For example, the reason why, for me as a man, it's difficult to speak about it is because I know that as long as the prostitution culture exists, then on any night, when I have money, I can go out and I can spend money on a pretty girl and I can be able to fulfill my desires and fantasies without experiencing the negative stigma of being with a prostitute. The reason why some women might find it difficult to speak against this is because they know that should they need to, there is a shortcut for them realizing their desires and dreams of travel, of clothes, accessories, and all those things if they just sacrifice their bodies for a night or two. So I was sitting and I'm thinking, how did we get here? Prostitution itself has been around since the beginning of time. There were prostitutes in Jesus' time, for goodness sake. There have been brothels, prostitutes, sugar daddies, Hugh Hefner. Throughout all the ages, all these things have always existed, but all these things have always been taboo and have always been looked down upon by our communities. But what is relatively new is how much we have come to accept it. Culture is created by either discipline or by compromise. Once upon a time, couple of generations ago probably, there was no such thing as sex before marriage. Of course, there were those who were rebels and participated in it secretly, but for most, that was the standard. But the more people who experienced the gratification, the more they wanted to do it without feeling guilty. So the more people compromised and more people compromised. Then it became okay to have sex maybe after a year of dating. Then more and more people compromised. Then 3 months became a new threshold. But still, we wanted to feel even less guilty. So we compromised more, and now sex is a part of the relationship from the very beginning. And that's exactly how culture is created. Our animal instinct says that there's safety in numbers. So even when I'm doing something wrong, when I'm with my people, when I'm with my group, my resistance is reduced and the feeling of guilt along with it. Just like how when you failed in high school or you did bad in a particular subject, you always wanted to find out how many other people failed, because you found comfort in knowing that though failing is bad, you would escape accountability by pointing out other people who are in the same predicament. And by using them, you'd be excusing yourself from behavioral change and once again escape accountability. But the truth is, whether it was only you or the whole class failed, the reality is that what you did was wrong and you need to do better. The same thing with the current culture that we are living in right now. I know that someone will say I'm a hater and should just let other kids make their money. Hey, listen, I fully agree with that. Yes, everyone has the right to make their own decision, whatever that may be. But as a people, we have the power to step in and contest a decision if that decision has an adverse effect on us as a community as a whole. An individual has a right to own a knife. But if they're using that knife to kill other people, then the community has the right, has the power, has the responsibility to step in and stand up against that one person's decision. So the question, someone will ask is, listen, this is my lifestyle. This is what my decision. How does it affect other people? And to that, I'll say this. My niece, 13 years old, knows that it takes hard work to achieve, success. But now, she also sees these people, these personalities who are not only admired who are being admired for being sexual symbols, who are being celebrated, who are being, put up and uplifted, becoming really successful. Surely that has an effect on that child. Surely in her mind, on a day that she struggles with a test or she fails at an exam, she will feel like selling herself is an acceptable path to success. That goes for anyone in any industry. If you're struggling in accounting, in law, in music or dance, for those people, they will feel like selling themselves is a viable option of becoming successful, which is wrong. But that is the mindset that we create by promoting and accepting the prostitution culture. Another thing is this. There's absolutely no excuse for rape. Ever. One of the reasons we're not making much progress in fighting rape is because we are promoting this prostitution culture which feeds the rape culture. How? Because a trend is now being established. Men spend money on women. A woman accepts the money or the gifts, which is a sign of the woman accepting the man and giving the man control. That's the trend. We have seen and heard so many cases where boys are raping girls because these boys have spent money on these girls, but maybe the girls are too young to understand the dynamics, and they find themselves alone with these boys, and these boys feel entitled to have sex. And rape occurs. Now, are these boys right? Of course not. But this is the world that we have created. I sit and I think, how can we stop it? Maybe we all need to have daughters so that we can all realize the generational impact that our selfish decisions have. I mean, this is relatively new to our country because we have been a conservative country. It's relatively new to us. Maybe it will take us a few years for us to see the absolute consequences of this lifestyle. But one thing I know for sure is you cannot just stop culture. I mean, you can't tell a girl who's living her best life in Dubai and in Paris to just stop and come back. You can't tell a man who's sleeping with 3 or 4 beautiful young girls to just stop. But what we can do is create a new culture. Sure, these things will still happen, but we must not tolerate what we know is wrong. We might not be able to clean up the internet, but what we can do firstly is clean up our media. We must stop using words that make this seem so lighthearted. Stop using the words blessed and blessee and call it as it is. Prostitution. call these men pedophiles. We need to remove all the content on TV and radio that gives promotion and that sponsors this prostitution culture and gives it popularity and strength. The reality shows, the TV interviews, the radio interviews, the gossip shows, the content and the manner that we deal with these things needs to change. We need to show the seriousness of it. That's the first thing that we need to change. And most importantly, ourselves, our ideologies as well. I mean, of course, no one is perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. I know there's still things that we all need to change, but we need to understand that whatever we may think, we have a responsibility to not only ourselves, but to others as well, because our decisions have an external impact. The truth is, there's a quote that says that our children will bask in the shade of the trees that we plant today. So whatever we compromise on today, that will become the norm for our children. So, in conclusion, when I say this, popular culture shows us a lot of things, but we only see the women getting money, getting thousands of likes, flying overseas. We see the men with beautiful, half-naked women hanging on their arms. This is what we see. But that's only a small percentage. What the pop culture doesn't show us, maybe until of late, is the number of women who are beaten, who are kidnapped, who are molested. Not all these blessees make it to Paris in one piece. They don't show those who have contracted diseases and those whose lives are shattered beyond repair. They don't tell the stories of abortion and children are growing up in inadequate families due to the lack of support from either side. So don't fall into the trap of pop culture, because the truth will still exist above and beyond what we see and hear. So please take care of yourself. Take care of the people around you. And as per usual, do hit me up in the comments. Do hit me up on the socials so that we can continue the conversation. Otherwise, it's your boy, the good son. I hope you're good. Stay good. Let's change the world, one conversation at a time. Peace.